Welcome to the first round of the 250 class in the new series, Pro Online Motocross series just started up. This is the first round for the 250 class. Thursday was the first 125 and tomorrow night is the 450 class. We're just heading in to it now for the first moto. Samuel Blackson 00 was the fastest qualifier earlier today, so we're looking at him for the race wins here, but there's a few other riders that could potentially pip him for it. But as we head in, it is on random weather, so anything could happen. And as we go in a bit late, it is Brandon 171 MX in second position on the RFX KTM. Can't quite jump to first, which is TTV Wheel Will riding the Revo Husqvarna by the looks of it. Brandon still in second. Samuel Blackson goes down, and that's a Motor Honda team. Heading back up to Brandon in second. We have King 711 Nost in, dropping down to fourth now as Alist 2807, the owner of the series, racing tonight instead of broadcasting, takes over as we head into the third sector of this race. It looks as if TT V1 Wheel Will grabbed the whole shot. I'm not quite sure, it's a bit late on that, with Brandon in second, Samuel in third. Looked like it was near enough a bad pass there by the fourth place rider, but as we head up to TT V1 Will, it's got Brandon right on his tail and Samuel Blackson right on Brandon's tail, but it looks as if he's trying to go down the inside, and it's a three-way battle for the lead here. Who's going to come out at the end of the straight, and it looks as if Brandon 171's on the inside, Samuel Blackson on the outside. As he tries to run it down, and Brandon looks as if he's going to get it into the, what we'd call the first corner. As we head to the back, but we'll go back to the front battle as Samuel goes off the track, but manages to keep it on two wheels here in Matley Basin. Brandon leading the way in his first race on PS4, first official race on PS4. He's normally an Xbox rider, but he's at the front here in his first race, with Samuel Blackson right behind him on the Honda, and TTV just behind them. I'm assuming he got the whole shot, but I'm not quite sure about that. Samuel dives down the inside of Brandon. That was a very good move by Samuel Blackson. Was second in the 125s on Thursday, showing his speed over there, and he's showing his speed here tonight. Oh, and it looks as if TTV Wheel Will has took over Brandon as well and tried to get up the inside there. He's just shut the door on him. He's trying to dive back down. Is he going to get it? Not quite there. He runs a bit wide as Samuel tries to brake while these two battle in the rain here at Matley Basin. But it looks as if TTV Wheel Will has took over the position from Brandon 171 MX. As Samuel Blackson looks to pack the rest of the field and leave the rest of the field. But here's Brandon trying to find a move past the Husqvarna rider. Not sure what happened, but he's gone down the inside there and kept a good line by TTV. Kept a good solid line around the outside. Samuel is gapping these two while they're battling. TTV's still in second. Brandon can't exactly get past him. Here's Alist 2807 pulling the tear off there on the corner as he heads up to the finish line for the third lap here at Matley Basin. And King 711 Nost with a few dodgy passes at first. He's drop back into 5th. So we head back up to Samuel Blackson, flying down past his mechanics area. He's got a good lead over TTV Wheelwell, who's got Brandon still there. If he makes a mistake, he's still there ready to pounce. Before his first race, he's doing very well. Samuel Blackson over the tabletop, down the hill. Smooth as you'd like. Goes off track a bit there, but manages to get back and cut down. In the start, he goes outside again and cuts down again. Looks like it's a popular line there from the race leader. As TTV has to stop and then turn in his way as Brandon's dropped back from him just a little bit. With 9 minutes left on the clock, anything could happen, but it looks as if the positions are set how they are. So we'll have a quick breakdown as Samuel Blackson leads the way here in Matley Basin, the British rider on the Asamoah Honda team, with, I find him, TTV One Wheelwell in 2nd, and we have Brandon 171MX in 3rd. Alice 2807, the leader of this series, in 4th, and King 711, Nost in 5th. That is rounding out your top 5 here, with 8 minutes to go in Matley Basin, Winchester. Looks as though it's getting pretty rough out there. A few ruts forming. Samuel Blackson completes another lap. Throws a little whip for the crowd there in the wet. But we have TTV Wheel 1 in 2nd. Looks as if he's closing in just a little bit on Samuel Blackson. He's got 7 minutes left to see if he can pull any time on him. But we'll see. As we'll head back to the leaders here in Matley Basin. Brandon 171 MX on the the RFX KTM team. He's riding the British Grand Prix today and then the British Supercross tomorrow in Silverstone, and the BSX Championship live from Torchester in Britain, the Silverstone circuit. But as we head back into it, Samuel Blackson does look as if he's managing this gap pretty well, but looks as if TTV looks pretty good in the rain. It's closing in. I'm assuming it was put on rain at the start of the race. Enough variable, but we will see how the track turns out. With 6 minutes to go. Obviously it was a bit of a shorter race due to the conditions, but the fans have still turned out in their numbers to support the British riders. There's a British rider, Samuel Blackson, number 314 on Asamoah Honda, leads the way. And then we've got TTV One Wheelwell on the Revo Husqvarna, another British based team, in 2nd. We have Brandon 171MX again on another British based team, the RFX KTM team, in 3rd. We have Privateer Allers 2807, number 305 on the KTM, looking for a team as well as running the series. Takes another tear off there. So if anyone's looking for a rider for the 250 class, here's an option. And in 5th, round out your top 5, is a number 711, King 711 Nost on the Privateer Kawasaki. As Alice goes down, and yep, he's gonna get cut for that as well, and it's a very hard job in the rain when you go down, have to get started again, but Samuel Blackson's just making it look very easy right now. He's pulled away on second placed. TTV One Wheel Will. He's got a pretty decent amount of gap on the Husqvarna rider, who himself has a pretty good gap on third place. Brandon 171 MX, who I'd say has a massive gap over fourth and fifth. Samuel Blackson hits the rollers, smoothly done through there, double 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 single through there from your race leader. TTV not too far behind, but I don't think he's got much time to try and put a mount on at the end of this race, but second in the first race of the 250 championship isn't a bad start, and neither's first, you have to say, and third for his first race on PS4, Brandon 171 MX. King Norse has stopped, so I'm not too sure what's happening with him. We'll keep an eye on that as Alice 2807 sits in fourth. Again, it would be him normally commentating, so for the 125s and the 450s it would be Alice commentating, but with him racing tonight, with me not racing, we've swapped roles. So he will be back tomorrow night with the 450s. But as we look back through the pack, King Norse just looks as if he's given up with 2 minutes on the clock. He's going to get 5th either way, but it'll be a DNF from the Kawasaki rider. As Samuel Blackson still leads the way. He took the lead on the second lap, of the race, and just has not looked back. You have to say TTV will did close in quite a bit at one point, but it looks as if that gap is just opening back up as the race progresses, and same has to be said over the third place rider as well. Just looking to see if we can find the times there, but doesn't look as if we can. As we head to Samuel Blackson, we'll do an onboard lap here. Onboard lap with your race leader for the view of the helmet cam. Again, cutting down on the corners, a very good technique in the rain. Go outside, cut down. Be riding well here for his first race with the Asamoto team in the 250 class. Again, he was riding in the 125s on Thursday, picking himself up as second. Leaves him in second place in the championship, just behind the German, who is leading the way in the series. That is Kesselchip at 93. Picked himself up 27 points. Samuel Blackson 20 points behind, with 20 points, just 7 points behind him. We'll finish off with the lap here with Samuel Blackson. The conditions don't look the best out there for these riders, but nothing much is to be expected from a British Grand Prix. As he heads into the corner again, going outside, cutting down, jumping down the hill and getting a good line into the rollers as well as through that corner, taking that corner very well. the little scrub going for the uphill triple. Obviously these lads aren't getting it due to the rain, but due to the conditions. But as Samuel Blackson heads over the line, that will be 2 minutes to go, and he's went off the track, so we'll head back as we look at Brandon 171 MX, the rider out of the northeast of England, a British rider. Very comfortable on the KTM already. Again, if anyone is interested in this series, message the page, get yourselves booked in for the next round. There was a few more entered for the 250 class, but a few didn't show up, so we were left for 5 riders, but you can only deal with what has been put in front of you. I believe Ali's 2807's done a very good job with the 125s and the 250s, and the 450s tomorrow night, same time, catch it. Just before that we have the BSX Championship, which he will also be commentating on. That is live from 5:30 in Dorchester, the Silverstone Circuit, a track built within the grounds of the circuit. So look forward to that as the final round of the BSX Championship on Monster Energy Supercross 3. But as we head back to the leader, TTV Will has caught up quite a bit in that lap, so we'll see if he can get back to Samuel Blackson with 2 laps to go. They've both gapped Brandon 171 a fair amount. He's still putting in a good ride here, and the same with Ali's 2807, number 305 on the Privateer GoPro Honda. KTM, sorry. And then obviously we have King Nost. I'm assuming something has happened with him, but I'm not quite sure. But as we head back up to the front, as Will has passed Samuel Blackson, Samuel Blackson heads back down the inside, takes the position back, but it looks like he's going to cut down again, and that's a very good move around the outside from the Asamoto rider. As TTV Will is on the inside here. Will he have enough space? He will. Samuel Blackson has the inside heading into the next corner as they both hit the double, and TTV has a better drive, but then went off track a tiny bit, so it allowed Samuel Blackson back in to the lead. Number 314 on the Honda, trying to hold off the Husqvarna. I'm not sure what happened to Samuel Blackson, but there goes the Revo Husqvarna rider. TTV Will into the lead. As we watch as battlers with 2 laps to go, they'll hit the final lap here in Matley Basin as they head over the line. Yep, and there it is. As we go back to the front 2, it's a helmet cam from TTV Will. We'll go back to the TV camera here. We'll take this off for the final lap. As Samuel Blackson and TTV Will right close to each other. I'm assuming Samuel may have went down or had an issue, which allowed TTV to get back. He was closing on him, but I didn't think he'd get back that quick. But after a fairly comfortable first half of the race for Samuel Blackson, in this final lap he's being put to the test by the Husqvarna rider. Again, it was dives down the inside. It's a great pass, but Blackson once again has that little extra bit of power to get through his and yep, he's going to get reset for that. Tried to go down the inside, was a bit off track, and then eventually went way off track, which has practically gifted Samuel Blackson the win here after a little scare there from the Husqvarna rider. Yeah, I'd like to apologise for the late start, but we're in now for the second race. Joined straight after the start, so hopefully in this next one we won't be too late. We'll get straight in for the second moto, which will be coming up straight after this one. Samuel Blackson heads up the big uphill triple for the final time in this first moto here, live at Matley Basin in Winchester. And the number 314 on the Asamoto Hondo takes the first win, the Moto 1 of the series. TTV will, after putting on a strong ride at the end, take second. We have Brandon 171MX coming round to take third. Alice 2807 will be fourth, and King Nost, who is starting to ride now, it's the final lap, will finish in fifth. As we watch the RFX rider over the finish line for the final time in this race, and we'll head back to Alice 2807 as he comes round the long off camber. And through the whoops again for the final time in this first moto. And there we are, it is finished here in Matley Basin for the first race of the 250 racing, as Samuel Blackson ends up with an 8-second lead over TTV Wheel Will, and Brandon MX a further 35 seconds behind, and Alice 2807 and King Nost rounding out your top 5. We're heading into the second moto. It'd be interesting to see if TTV Will can grab the win in this one, see if he can take it one step further, but Samuel Blackson looked as if he just gapped him at the end when TTV made the mistake. So just leave here and get ready to be invited back in for the second race here live from Matley Basin in Winchester. We'll look to see who will grab the second moto win and ultimately the overall, because the way things are set up with only the 5 riders, let's say anyone could win it, but it looks as if it's right in Samuel Blackson's hands right now. So we'll see if the rider out of Great Britain can take the win and the overall in the second moto. But as we just wait for confirmation of the start of the second race, wait for the invite to join back in for the second moto here in Matley Basin. Again, just going back to the first moto with Samuel Blackson taking the win 8 seconds ahead of TTV Will, who put a good charge on at the end of the race, but it wasn't enough to get back through, as they're... No worries, lad. It was an interesting first race, I have to say. How would you find it? I missed the start, but yeah, Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Yeah, well, good luck. So that was the privateer rider on the GoPro KTM, who runs a series. It is Alice 2807. So just waiting for the riders to go into the race here, the second race. So here we go, there's only 4 riders here. I think Brandon 171MX got kicked from the race, or he's lagged out or something, but he's not in the race here, which is very unfortunate for the rider out of Britain, who finished in 3rd in the first moto. I obviously can't get any confirmation out of the owner, so it's currently out of my hands at the minute as we go into no, there's only 4 of yous on my screen. I'm not too sure what to do in this position, but going to the race, and Samuel Blackson leading the way from TTV Wheel Will, the two that were 1-2 in the first race. Once again 1-2 here in the second, and let's see who can get this win as well, as we have Alice 2807 in 4th and King Nost number 711 in 3rd. Samuel Blackson once again, it's on rain once again. Unfortunate for the riders, but again it is Matley Basin, so what can you expect out of the British Grand Prix? But we head to TTV Will in 2nd, looking as if he's not getting quite close to Samuel Blackson even after the first lap, so Samuel Blackson might be putting the hammer down this time just to get away and hope that he doesn't make the same mistake again as he did in the first moto. But we will see what happens with 12 minutes of the race to go. Samuel Blackson in the lead. King Nost and Alice 2807 having a little battle for 3rd position. These two finishing 4th and 5th in the first race after having a battle as well. I just had an interview there from the owner of the series and 4th place rider Alice 2807, so we'll see if he can pull through past the Kawasaki rider. But at the minute, it looks as if King Nost is holding his own here, as I believe TTV Wheel Will just went down, got back up pretty quick, so that Samuel doesn't get too far ahead, but he's got a pretty good gap now over the Husqvarna rider. As we go on board as well with the Asamoah Honda rider here in the wet of Matley Basin. As King Norst has left as well, so it's just 3 riders left in here for this race. Unfortunately, with Brandon leaving in the first race, after the first race, I believe he got kicked or his internet shut down or something, but hopefully we'll be getting 5th place points for this. Yeah, I just mean like internet kicked him kind of thing. But I'm not too sure. But Samuel Blackson, continue. Oh, yeah, so it's probably 2 internet faults completely out of our hands as we have 9 minutes left of this race. We're heading on to 9 anyway. As we're still on the helmet cam of Samuel Blackson. Number 314 on the Asamoah Honda. Heading down the hill. Into the right hander again. Going wide, cutting down. Looks like he should be on for another race win here in Matley Basin with TTV Will, sorry. In second once again. These two 1-2 in the first race, 1-2 once again. Had a pretty good lead over TTV Will did Samuel Blackson, so he's looking to do exactly the same after what happened on the last 2 laps of the first race. But with TTV going down at the start of this one, Samuel Blackson has a fairly good lead over the Revo Husqvarna rider. As we go to Alice 2807 again, another on board, few corners of the rough wet circuit here live from Matley Basin as he goes off and he gets stuck on the board and then goes down. It's unfortunate there from the ride out of Scotland. As we head up to the leader once again, Samuel Blackson putting in another great ride on the 250s as he did in the 125s as well. It was his second fastest qualifier in the 125s and then was the top qualifier here in the 250 class. Looks as if he's got this race in the bag once again, as TTV Will just doesn't look as if he's closing the gap on the Honda rider. But with unfortunately there only being 3 riders left in this race and the second moto of the 250 class, they are pretty spread out with no battles going on. Unfortunate for the viewers and myself. But we have got a good ride, a good selection of riders here to watch. As it was unfortunate that Brandon 171MX unfortunately had internet issues along with with King 711 Norst. So unfortunately it does leave us with the 3 riders as you see on the screen. But as we head with 6 minutes left on the clock, we'll go through the schedule for the season's racing from the Pro Online Motocross Series, the POMS. So we'll go through it now. And so for the 450s and 250 class, obviously the first round is here live in Matley Basin. We have Imola, the Italian Grand Prix second. We have Teutschenthal, German Grand Prix third. Pietramarota, it's the fourth round in Italy again. We have a look at the Czech Republic round. Olornik, I think, as the Russian round. Agueda in Portugal. Then we have Semarang in Indonesia. Afyonkarahisar in Turkey. Shanghai for the Chinese round, the second Asian round of the series. We have Neuquén in Argentina for the first round of the South American part of the series. And then to finish it off, we have the Belgian round, the dreaded sand of Lommel. So we'll see how this championship plays out with all these rounds. So many different tracks, so many different types of grounds, different types of mud, sand. So we'll see how this all pans out. But for the 125 class, they will only ride a few rounds. So it'll be the first round in Matley, the third round in Teutschenthal, the fifth round in Locket, the seventh in Agueda, the ninth in Afyonkarahisar in Turkey, and the 11th round. Oh no, so there's only 9 rounds of the 125s, which kicked off on Thursday. Scoochie 6, an Irish rider, taking the win in that one. So you watch others 2807 riding round, as well as Samuel Blackson and TTV Will. But Samuel Blackson has a fairly decent enough gap over the Husqvarna rider in this one, bar some mistakes in the wet. It's typical to find, but on a racing game it's pretty easy to correct. But as I go back to the 125, Scoochie 6, the Irishman, taking the win in the first round, or the first moto of the first round anyway, with the German rider in winning the second moto, as Scoochie unfortunately disconnected. So we have Kessel Chip 93 in the lead of the 125 class after the first race. And then we have Samuel Blackson, who is leading the way as we speak, right here, number 314 on the Honda. He finished in second. The Irish rider Steins 196 finished in third. Scoochie 6 ended up fourth. Dilzer 95 in fifth. Myself, Kean 40MX in sixth. TTV Wheel Will here in second, finished in seventh. Jay Kappa in eighth. Jay Fisher 711 in ninth, with 3 points. Len Luca, the German, in 10th. 11th, Jamie Chad 126. There's a lot of dirty racing that night, but as we head into this one, there hasn't been much of any dirty racing in tonight's round. For the first round of the 250 class in Great Britain, it's again raining, but you wouldn't expect anything of a British Grand Prix. But that's what happens when you stick it in the first round of the calendar. So we head to Imola next week in Italy. Hopefully conditions will be a lot better, but it could be any kind with an Italian Grand Prix. And then to the German, it's exactly the same. And then we have the Italian once again for the 4th. So a lot could happen within the next 4 rounds in terms of this championship. The 125s and 450s. Because the 450s start tomorrow. It's looking like it's probably going to be another rain. Another rainy day here in Winchester. Just south of London. As we see, Samuel Blackson goes down there, but I don't think TTV will have enough time, even if he was to get back somewhere near the Honda rider. I don't think he would have enough time to get the pass made for the overall, but as it stands, it looks as if the overall is going to go to Samuel Blackson, the rider out of Great Britain. As you can see, a lot of fans over the fences there cheering on these British riders. All that's left is British riders, so it's a good show for the British crowd. Yeah, so it will be Samuel Blackson taking the overall if he can keep it on 2 wheels for the last 2 laps. TTV wheel will finish in 2nd, and I'm assuming due to what has happened with Brandon 171 MX, Alice 2807 will finish 3rd in the overall, as he's just parked up there. It's just riding around, I'm assuming, for the last 2 laps. And then Brandon 171 MX in 4th, and King 711 Nost in 5th, rounding out your top 5. But for the final 2 laps of this race, I'll keep a closer eye on how these 3 riders, handle another rainy day here in Martley Basin. It looks as if most riders have been keeping it on 2 wheels this weekend. There were some good battles yesterday, again, once again in the rain, in the 125s, and today a bit of a low entry, but due to some riders not joining. But good turnout from the crowd for this race. As we can see, Samuel Blackson with 2 laps to go, looking smooth as you possibly can be in the wet. And pretty fast on this new Honda ride as well, with the Italian team Asimoto Honda signed a deal with Circuit for a kit sponsor. Nice look on the bike. So Alice 2807 goes down there, heading up to the big triple. I'm assuming he's just going to wait for Samuel Blackson to do the final 2 laps and then pull over the line. But he is TTV wheel well not too far behind, but not enough to put a charge in for the Honda rider. As we see Samuel Blackson head onto his final lap. For this final lap, we will go on board with the Honda rider as he goes past the mechanics area for the final time. sees the pit board from his mechanic, and he will come round for the second moto win in the first round of the 250 class, leaving with a perfect score of a 1-1, taking the overall. And I'm sure TTV will be happy with a second overall and a list 2807 with third, as we'll get these riders in at the end of the race for a quick interview in the booth here at the top of the circuit, just after the start straight. And a lot of fans turned out in the numbers from all over to cheer on these riders. As a home rider, Samuel Blackson heads over the rotors for the final time here in this 250 race 2, round 1 of the Pro Online Motocross Series. Will take a good lead heading into the Italian round next weekend in Imola. Obviously there won't be a 1-2-5 round next week. The next round of that will be in Germany, in Teutschenthal, the track which hosted the Motocross Nations a few years back. But as Samuel Blackson heads over the line and takes the second moto win of the day, as we head back, TTV Will sitting there with Alice 2807. They're going to head back. They're going to head over the line, I'm assuming. I'm assuming not. So I think they're both just waiting for each other to go. But we'll stay on TTV Will as he heads up the triple for the final time to take second place here in Matley Basin, as he heads over the line, and Alice heads over the triple for the final time as well to take third place, and he crosses the line as well. So there you have it, your top three. Samuel Blackson number 1 finishes in number 1. We have TTV Will in second, and Alice 2807, the Scottish rider, in third. A massive lead from Samuel Blackson in the second moto. So we'll just get these alright. How was that race for yourself then? Third place. Well, third place heading into the second round, it isn't a bad way to go. But Samuel Blackson going 1-1 today, how do you feel after that race? Yeah, you can only race who's put in front of you, but a 1-1's definitely impressive no matter how many numbers are in. What does this mean heading into the second round? Are you going to change anything for the race next week in Imola, or are you keeping everything the same? I mean, you don't expect anything other than rain from a British Grand Prix, so it keeps it realistic in that respect. But thank you for the interview, lads, and good luck in the second round next week, live from Imola. Thank you, lads.